There were some rumours broke yesterday that you were looking at potentially August 25th, if he comes through Parker, to go to the US and fight Jarrell Miller. Is there any truth in that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like talking too much beyond, but obviously I was there for a Jarrell Miller press conference. All eyes on March 31st for us, and Joshua certainly isn't looking past that, but I feel like we need to fight in America. And what I said is that if Deontay Wilder still remains in Fantasy Island and Miller looks good against the Halpers, if we were going to box in Brooklyn, to fight Jarrell Miller from Brooklyn would be an obvious fight. So, yeah, I think there's a real chance that late August could be the American debut of Anthony Joshua, and Jarrell Miller is a possibility, but one has to beat the Halpers, which is a tough fight, and two has to look good. So we'll see.
And you talked about Deontay Wilder, WBC heavyweight champion, being on Fantasy Island regarding his negotiating position, if you want to call it that, for a unification with Joshua. There was an interview yesterday with Richard Schaefer in which he called you childish, which I'm sure you won't be bothered about, sticks and stones and all that. He started it. But he's stating that the fight can make a lot more money in America. Without Wilder, Joshua can't have a mega pay-per-view in America, is how he described it. How much would you go along with that?
Well, I think Richard Schaefer's got absolutely nothing to do with it, as always, and I don't think he has any power in boxing anymore with any major fighters, but that's another story. But I see as they both need each other to get on American pay-per-view, but for getting American pay-per-view, look at what the fights generate for Joshua anyway, compared to what the fights generate for Deontay Wilder. Joshua's making 10 times the amount of money that Wilder is per fight. So it doesn't take a genius to figure that out. But the only way those two can box on pay-per-view in America is against each other. So does it make more money in America? I still think the fight can be a pay-per-view fight in the UK, but it's probably like for like, possibly more money in America. But I'd like to do two. I'd like to do one in Vegas, one at Wembley. But again, he's got to beat Ortiz, which is a tough fight. We've got to beat Parker, which is a tough fight, and then we'll see where it goes from there.
Do you think Wilder is the biggest threat in terms of active heavyweights out there to Joshua?
Yes.
And why? What sets him apart from the pack?
He's a devastating puncher. I think he's gangly. I think he's awkward. He's unorthodox. And he hits very hard. And Joshua likes to trade, and that's why he's always going to be in good fights. That's why the Parker fight's dangerous, because they're going to trade. And Parker's got speed; he can hit as well, and anything can happen. I mean, Joshua Wilder is a fight that you just have to watch through your fingers. But that's what you want, isn't it? I mean, they're the fights you live for. And but I think there's going to be a lot of fun in the Wilder Ortiz fight, and a lot of fun in the Joshua Parker fight. I think there's going to be a lot of drama.
And just before we let you go, what about Tyson Fury? I'm sure you saw the reception he got in Manchester over the weekend. He obviously remains relevant. How relevant is he to Joshua and your plans for him?
Not until he really gets back in the fold. I think, and rightfully so, Fury wants 2 or 3 fights to get himself back into the sport. Rightfully so. Despite the, fight me now, Joshua. The truth is he needs those fights. So when those fights take place and when he's up and running, it's the biggest fight in boxing. It's the biggest certainly the biggest fight in British boxing history. In terms of revenue, the Wilder fight is bigger because of the American pay-per-view. But it's a great fight. I mean, the narratives are they're all there, aren't they? So Joshua wants to fight him, but we need an excuse, and we need both guys to be ready. And you've got the politics. If you don't know what's going to happen, does he go with Warren? Does he stay with Hennessy? Does he come with us? Who knows? But it is a problem, obviously, if he's on another network, and it's not. I'm just being honest. I mean, the game. It's all very well saying, "Oh, come on, share it," and stuff like that. It doesn't work like that. So, but we want to we want to fight Tyson Fury, but the ultimate plan is to become undisputed champion for Anthony. So that leads to Wilder rather than Fury. But I think realistically, summer of 2019 is the kind of time frame where both guys will be ready for it.
And what we've seen with Fury recently and before the first Bellew fight with Hay is that they seem to want to beat Eddie Hearn as much as they want to beat the man in front of them.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I suppose if I was not me, I'd probably think I was a bit of a knob, really.
That's good self-awareness.
It's like you're kind of fighting the system, and I think a lot of these guys, they shouldn't think like this, but they see, like, some people don't want to sign with us because it's like you're giving in to the system,
the establishment.
Yeah, and it's like, it really isn't like that, and people like Bellew will tell you that it's just a good move and we know what we're doing and we're very powerful, but it's almost like, no, I'm not going to sign with Eddie because that's just, they like,
it's like selling out.
They like to be this independent guy who's me against the world and I'm going to do it on my own. That fucking bollocks, that don't work. Do you know what I mean? So I see a lot of that. I see it from guys, and I think eventually, Amir Khan's a great example. He felt the same way. I ain't signing with Eddie, no way. And then after a while I sort of thought about it and then thought, you know what, and now ask him. And I'm asking him after this fight, he'll say, I wish I would have done this years ago.
So fighters learn to love you?
No, they don't have to love me. They don't have to. You never have to love me. I'm just good at what I do. And I can take you to places that other people can't, and I can make you money that other people can't. But you will like me once we work together, because I'm not probably I can't imagine I come across that great, but I know what I'm doing. And it's the same with Amir. Amir never liked me, but now we've got a great working relationship. Not saying that he's going to invite me around for tea, but if we work with Tyson Fury, I think you'd get a similar position where after a fight or so you go, I wish I would have done this years ago. But there is that element of, I want to beat him and beat that bastard Hearn as well.
Yeah, beat Matchroom, beat Hearn.
It's kind of like the geezer out of the WWF, isn't it? What's his name?
Steve Austin?
No, not him.
Oh,
no, the guy
CM Punk?
No, the guy who was involved, like, with the management of the WWF.
Oh, Triple H?
No, not the wrestler. The guy who actually ran
Vince McMahon, Mr. McMahon.
Yeah.
Oh, you're like, the Mr. McMahon.
It's the evil guy of boxing. Yeah. You know what I mean? So.
You're the Mr. McMahon.
But when I started, I was like the hero. I said to Calla the other day, actually, it's quite interesting, because I went, Calla, this reminds me of when I started doing the shows. Everyone was like, Eddie. I'd walk through the show going, Eddie, take it to them. We love you. Now it's like, fuck off, Eddie, because you've become that, like you say, the establishment.
Did he believe you, or was he like, nah, they'll always love me?
Yeah, he was going, no. And now all of a sudden he's got a kickboxer going in a series, and he's like, oh, God, the criticism started. So, look, it just comes with it, but all good.
Brilliant. Thanks very much for your time.
No worries. Cheers, mate.